As you can probably see now, I am sitting for this meeting. Otherwise, you guys will watch me hobble back and forth. I don't stand still very well. But I need to go over a few things as we talked before. This has not been a good year for any of us as far as students' attentiveness and participation. And now that the first semester is over, first thing I want to do is talk to you about failures that we have had here. Out of 322 students that were officially on our rolls at the end of the semester, 90 of those students failed the course, or at least the first half of the course, depending whether it was a year-long course or not. So 27.95% of our students were counted as failure for that. Now we had 322, as I said. When we did our first enrollment report, the official one for our numbers on 9/30/2020, we had 338 students enrolled at that time. So from that time until now, the 338 to the 322, as you can see, we lost students there. Now, with that, part of that is students moved out of the area. I can think of 2 right now that moved away. But then some others who probably would be listed as failures for us, they were withdrawn from their class because of attendance. So some students were withdrawn before we got to the end of the semester because they weren't doing anything, their attendance. So as you normally do after your 15 days and so, students get dropped. So I wanted to also bring that out, that we lost a certain amount of students in enrollment, and a lot of those were probably because they were dropped from the home school for their attendance reason, whereas others moved to a different locale, different location. Any questions on that before we move forward to the enrollment report? Because I can dig into the numbers a little deeper right there. Just like all schools, I know at Covington and Alleghany High Schools, you all are fighting the same battle with the numbers of students that have failed their courses or are failing at midpoint. We're one of the few that have year-long classes, where most of your high schools, most of them are just at a semester. So when you hit the semester whether they failed or passed. We have some that drag on. And with students, and give you this number too, out of all the students we have in our level 2s and 3s, which are year-long classes, we had 17 students that had to drop because they failed below the point where they could pass for the year. So that means they were below a 40 for the class. So we had to have 17 of them dropped, and there were another 6 that I sent to the schools recommending serious consideration. The students should seriously think about it because they needed at least a 96 or above to pass this semester, to pass the class. And if they were only making a 42, 43, 41 first semester, the reality of them getting a 96 and above is not there. So I had recommended, but again, it was up to the student. They still mathematically had a chance. But if they were to drop the class at this point, then they could be put into another class where they could possibly get a credit instead of sitting and failing the whole year and getting no credits. So that's some of the information I sent to both of the high schools. I sent them the full list of the failures we had so that they'd know, and also athletic directors so they'd know athletically who failed the courses that we did have. Now, as far as the enrollment we have this time, because of failures we had and because of failures at the home schools, we again lost significant numbers from what was projected at the end of September. Mr. Franson, I'm sorry you're the only one that doesn't have this list because you decided to go remote there, and I didn't send it to you before that, but I will send it to you as soon as I get out of here. But the enrollment report that I have here, we originally planned on 317 students this second semester total between Alleghany and Covington. Now we always have it shift, depending on different reasons, but it's never exact. Some students will pick up our course, some students will drop it, because this schedule was made at the very beginning of the year. But this time it's at an extreme. We had 317 we planned on for this semester. In reality, as of yesterday at 4:30, we had 257. Now, when I looked again this morning, we've lost another 2, and if I look right now, we may have lost or gained some more. So things are still shifting. But we've lost a total of 60 students that we planned on having this semester as of September 30th that are no longer enrolled because of whatever reasons it may. Again, some of them moved away, but some of them failed us, they couldn't stay, and some others failed courses at the home high school, and they had things academically on the core subjects that they needed to do to graduate or stay on track. We've lost, that's 18.93% less. And like I said, we had a couple more, 3 drop and 1 add, so that's a difference of 2 at that point that we've lost this morning. So we'd be at a minus 62 as of right now. It's something I know both home high schools are going to be struggling over time. If you had a bunch of students fail geometry, they got to retake it, for graduation. For us, if a student failed level 1, they either try it again or they're out of the program. So this is going to carry with us for the 3-year cycle, because we are losing students that would normally maybe be able to move to level 2 and then move to level 3. Only time is going to tell fully how that is going to look, but this is going to drag on with our numbers for the next several years, just like you're going to have issues with trying to get kids in certain courses for the next several years at the home high schools just to get what they have to have because of the level of failures that everybody is having. So you can see the enrollment there. When you're looking at that sheet that I sent to you all, the semester 1, that was what the numbers were on 9/30. The semester 2 is what they were as of yesterday. And the year-long classes, if you look at the numbers in black, that is what we officially had as of September 30th. And the numbers in red is where we are right now with those students in the year-long class. So, for example, in Carpentry 2, we had 14 at the beginning of the year, September 30th. We now have 10 of those Carpentry 2 students. Again, I know one of those, I can tell you, moved away back earlier in the semester, and several others did fail at that point and had to be removed from the class to take another class. So I know there's a lot of stuff in there. I don't know if you have specific questions now. It's stuff we can talk about again in the future at another meeting, or you can just send me questions yourself, ask me personally any of this stuff after you've had a time to really dig into it. But does anybody have any questions currently?
Does anyone on Zoom have any questions about that?
The only question I have, Jonathan, for Mr. Spangler, I know that the technical school is different than the local school. I know at the local schools, we're going to be able to address some of those needs over the summer. Is there a possibility, Mr. Spangler, that we can address some of those needs over the summer?
We had talked about this a couple months ago. As far as getting a student to pass a class, unless they were really close in a summer period, that we wouldn't be in a great position for that. I would be looking more during a summertime instructional period of being able to bring in the technical skills for these students that they're losing right now, the hands-on. Students that have been in the course and have been handcuffed to where they can't do as much of the hands-on, being able to bring them in for a period of time to just hit them hard with the hands-on portion of it, to build their skill to be a little further ahead, ready for the next year. or for our seniors to give them that little bit extra before they move out in the world to prepare themselves. So as far as it being a credit recovery, not so much, because I know you all would also be limited in the number of courses you can do in a summer program. I know you all put a lot of things onto Edgenuity and so forth, which we cannot do that. So, maybe to assert a little bit, but as far as credit recovery passing, I don't see us being able to do that to a large degree.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had one, just for a frame of reference, you mentioned the failure rate, I think you was 27, almost 28%?
Yes.
Okay. I know it's difficult and probably fluctuates in a normal year, but for a frame of reference, what would we normally be looking at? Is there ballparks for an average failure rate?
I didn't average that up, but I'll be glad to get that and send it to all of you.
I just wanted a little frame of reference. See, I think there's not a lot, at least in my mind, about what you reported. I think we're all pretty much expecting that there were going to be these difficulties, but I think it's helpful for us to just see just how we have slid because of all of the difficulties that we faced. Just to kind of, again, put a little frame of reference to it. I would be curious as to that, if nothing else.
I can tell you it is way off. But I will pull those figures out. I'll look back the last couple of years and try to bring those numbers and just send that to you. But yeah, it is way off. For a kid to fail our CTE classes, they're really working hard to do that. If they're here participating every day, working, most of the time they're going to do very well.
Any other questions for Mr. Spangler regarding the enrollment?
Tammy was the same thing I was going to ask. Summer all over.
And summer thing, it's another, and I've talked to teachers, but we're talking about the year we've gone through. It's a 7-week summer, and we're asking teachers to give up a good portion of their summer when they need to, just sit back and try to regroup and come back for the next year. So that's a hard thing too.
All request.
Yeah. It's not like we can put them on the computer and you can have one person come in one week, another person the next week, just to monitor the students. They'd have to be here doing the instruction.
Well, it's certainly tough, and like I said, even though I don't think any of us want to see these numbers, I know these aren't unexpected at all. So, that concludes your report, Mr. Spangler?
Yeah, except, we're 4 days into it now. Fortunately, we were in school all 4 of these days, so the kids we'd have in the building, A and B, in 4-day groups, at least we've had a chance to see them. And then we'll see from here, kids we haven't gotten contact with yet, we're going to need to make a push to get a hold of those kids and make sure they realize that we have started and we're ready to roll.
I had a question, are the staff being vaccinated here, or is that?
Yes, just like at the home schools, the option is out there. For individuals that already had COVID, they're told to wait 90 days. So I do have a few that did have COVID that are not able to get it now, but several of us, like myself and so forth, we're ready for our second round on Thursday. So everybody that wanted it or could take it will have their second round, weather permitting, this Thursday to get all that taken care of, just like both Alleghany and Covington. Yeah, with our nurse aid program, when we go to the clinical settings out in the nursing homes, only one person can manage 10 people. We have 20 individuals in our third year, our nurse aide, so the majority of the time we need to hire a person to help us on the clinical setting. Last year, Cheryl Milton, who works for in the emergency room at the hospital, she was one of the ones that helped us with that, and she is willing to do that again. So I just want to get her officially reappointed to help us with that, because we look to get started on this hopefully within the next few weeks. Towards the end of February is when we're hoping to get our students back in there to work in the clinical setting.
And you'll need action on this today. Obviously, being this is a reapproval, someone that has worked with us in the past. So, We don't have that listed as a closed session item, so unless there's any discussion specifics there, I think we can hear a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve. I second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?